my internet or video cut off because it was switching cameras and the computer locked up, and it's never done that. But we're back. So if you have any questions, man, post them. I want to go deeper with you guys. Some people were bringing up some cool stuff right there at the end and got cut off. So ask questions, give me topics to talk about. You know, my voice is kind of going out. We'll hang out for a few more minutes here. So yeah, just enjoyed the last conversation and some of the later things that we were talking about too. So let's give you guys a second to join in that awkward few moments before someone goes live, or they go live and they just look at the camera for a moment. And we're just gonna let people get in here, give people time to get in, and we're gonna talk about it here in a minute. That's cool, but you kind of got to go with your thing, man, because it's being recorded and people are gonna watch later. So as people are coming in, man, everybody have a seat, man. You know, turn to your neighbor, the person next to you, tell them you love them, man. Tell them you're glad they're here. Shout out to Sons of Lamech and the beloved disciple. He says, just be real is here. And everybody says, bless you, bro. Good afternoon. If anybody has any questions you want me to talk about, I've seen some more questions coming through, and I'm ready to let you have it, man. What do you want me to talk about? Ask anything. No, nothing is off the table. So everybody wants to know or have opinions, and some people think that I hold back. There's a lot of people that think I hold back, which is weird. True Seeker's holding back, man. He's not telling us everything. No, I'm telling you openly. Whether you have to decipher it in music or whether you hear it broke down in a podcast, like, I don't think there's anything that I'm holding back. I'm an open book. So if you're trying to get to these next levels, man, like, I wouldn't try to hold something back. Even stuff I talk about that's behind a paywall, like membership stuff or Patreon stuff or something like that, like anything that's behind a paywall, I don't feel right without having that information in the public somewhere. Maybe it's not in the form of a book that you actually have to buy, but I feel like all of the stuff that's in my books we've talked about on podcast. You may have to listen to all my podcasts to get the information, but just buy the book, or you can get it and have access to it whenever you want. So what all of our stuff, whether it's healing sessions, one-on-one stuff, like I really want to make sure that it's present, you know what I'm saying, for everybody who, just because you don't have money or whatever, you can't get it. We got the internet. Kai Ray Dawson says, thank you for this, Derek True Seeker. Derek Grosskirth, what are your thoughts on demons showing up and pretending and falsely presenting themselves as angels of heaven? What are my thoughts on that? My thoughts on that are, I covered it in my book. There's the plug. The book is, I should show it, hold it up. But I definitely covered that in my book because that's something that gets talked about a lot. But my thoughts on that, my thoughts are that it doesn't happen as much, or if ever, as much as people like to say or claim that scripture, that it does. And my reason being is that scripture is not talking about that. A lot of people who, and it's only right, if you haven't had an encounter with an angel or with a being from the other side, you're going to call BS. I mean, you should. I think you should. I think there's a healthy level of skepticism that we all need to have. So the scripture says that even Satan, it says, no marvel, for even Satan himself is transformed into a being of light. And so when we read that, we think light beings. Beings of light are light beings. But if you continue to read, it tells you that it says ministers of righteousness. It actually tells you what that verse is talking about, which is false apostles, preachers, teachers, evangelists. That's what it's talking. It's not talking about light beings and heavenly hosts that are coming down, communicating with mankind. Paul does, talk a little bit about that, about believing a different gospel. I will say that when he talks about these angels that are coming and don't. And I think I don't think that it was something that they had to watch out for. I think it was something more that, like an analogy. All right, listen, I don't care if a legion of army of angels come down and give you a different gospel. Don't believe them, man. And I think it was more of a scenario or an analogy versus like, you guys better be careful because these angels are waking people up in the middle of the night telling them these new doctrines. I don't think that that's what it was talking about. But you say, am I sure about that? For sure. Like that scripture was not talking about light beings, brother. Go just I don't look so sure. I'm very sure about that. For of one who has encountered light beings and one who has encountered false apostles of light as well, who are really hateful, ravenous, racist people. Yeah, I'm definitely sure about that. Read the text. Read it. Read it with if thinking it that it's a person, and read it thinking that. Just read it for what it says first, without because we're projecting the light being stuff in it, because it says ministers of righteousness. It says false apostles. It says false teachers. Like it's talking about people. It's not. But we like to project and do it. You're not talking about light beings. I don't know what you're talking about then. If you're talking about what that verse says there, that says that Satan himself is transformed into beings of light. You're talking about demons that are pretending to be angels. You can't. You can't. That's like a racist trying to act like he's not racist. Like it's gonna come out. You're gonna talk about it. Like, people are gonna show their true colors. Jesus talks about this. That's their fruit. A good tree does not produce bad fruit. A demon is not going to come up to you and heal you. A demon is not going to come up and tell you how to better yourself. It's not in them. They're wicked beings. They feed off of energy. So they don't show up as beautiful angels, beautiful radiant beings, but they're trying to kill you and possess you. No, it don't work like that. They are going to radiate off of their energy, their vibrational frequency. Demons don't come up to you as beautiful women and tell you beautiful things on how to better yourself. You got to judge the information, because really the truth is on the opposite of that whole conversation. The truth is that heavenly beings may look grotesque. Now, if you're judging according to appearance, as we do, you're going to say, okay, that being doesn't look like a beautiful angelic being of light. That being looks like a blob of energy. That being looks like a bunch of eyeballs in the book of Ezekiel. Like, these are terrifying, grotesque, ugly things that if we're judging by the appearance that they can take on. So then we say just because they look grotesque, because they look dangerous, then they must be dangerous. So the same analogy on the other end is that if a beautiful being comes, then they must be beautiful, right? It doesn't work that way. So you have to what I'm saying is you have to judge the information. Don't judge them by the way they look. Just like you don't judge a pastor because he's a pastor. You don't judge a Hindu because he's a Hindu. You judge the fruit that person brings to the table. You don't judge somebody because of their skin color. All of it. Take your isms, take your schisms, and go read and study some more. I don't want it. Like, the universe is so much bigger than what we've been told. And when we have to step out of this religious paradigm or reading the Bible with a preconceived notion. Why are you reading the Bible if you already got it figured out? What are you trying to get? You're trying, it's like confirmation biased. We're looking for things to use as weapons that already fit our agenda. So anyway, that's what I want to say on those beings. I mean, just because they look like a light being, looks can be deceiving for sure. I'll give you that. Looks can be deceiving. Just like people, cards. I'm Pastor so and so, and it really, whoever that person is. So you have to judge the fruit, man. The beings, angels, vibrational beings, densities. If they're negative, if they're wicked, if you've done the work, you should be able to feel them. Like but not everybody's experienced that. Not everybody is, I guess, seasoned in what that stuff feels like or looks like. So yeah, people can be deceived, man. So you do have to be careful. But I would say, judge the information. Don't even judge the messenger. Because God sends evil spirits out to do His bidding, and for that person you would think it's an evil spirit, but that evil spirit carries a message that a An angel of light isn't created to carry. So you can only get it from this. You can only get it from here. You can only get it from, there's things that you experience and know that you can only get at the bottom of the barrel, at the bottom of the bottle. You got to fall off your high horse, Paul. Like, you got to come down. You got to be down here with the people. So there's different experiences and scenarios and places that you go that you have to learn from. Listen, there was things that I learned with the Hebrew Israelites, as nasty and as whatever that stuff is that a lot of them are a part of. It's not all of them. So forgive me if I, try to, put them all in that box. But there's things that I learned on how to study the scriptures and a different take on the Bible and many other things as well that I'm thankful for. And I could only learn if I went and studied with the Hebrew Israelites. Thank God that I made it out. Thank God that I ate the meat and spit out the bones. And there's a lot of bones. There's a lot of poison from all of these groups. Every single one of them. No matter what they're bringing to the table, they all have poison. That's why Paul's talking about how you can be bit by these serpents and not die. I tell you straight up, listen, when I was studying under Hebrew Israelites, I sought God in prayer. I repented to my friends. There was things that I learned and had opinions about Christianity and Christians and pastors and white people. Listen, it was demonic that I learned from watching these videos, man, and partnering with these people. And I went to a prayer meeting, three dudes, really, and I just opened up to them and told them, listen, y'all, I need help. And when I confessed it and I told those guys what I was going through, and I didn't want to be, I didn't want to carry that judgment and all that. And I didn't think I'd ever be able to let it go. Like in an instant, it left me. There's a spirit. In an instant, upon confession, asking for forgiveness and confessing it to my brothers, I received healing. Instantly, it was gone. Something I thought I was going to carry to my grave. Like, that's how strong it had a hold of my mind. A doctrine, an ungodly belief that I learned from these people, And there's many of you who are in that, and many of you who have those things. And I tell you what, if you confess it and you ask God to take it from you, in an instant, he can do it. There's things you think you got to take to your grave with you. In an instant, it's gone. So, Andre Gonzalez says, what do you think of Huff Paranormal and that type of work? Is it okay? Is it evil? Well, let me preface it. I don't know if it's a typo or there's something called Huff Paranormal. I never heard of Huff Paranormal, so I don't know if it's a typo. So I can't really speak on that. But I'll tell you, my fascination with the paranormal is that the paranormal gives some type of proof of the afterlife. Spirits and ghosts and demons and angels and all of that is kind of like put together in the experiences of the afterlife, and that there is an existence when we leave here. So that's one thing that I do like about the paranormal. That there's something greater at work behind this reality that is influenced by our reality, or they influence us. That's the spirit world. I mean, that's the title of my book, in the spirit realm, and why I wrote that book is to go into it. And is it okay? Is it evil? Again, I think it just depends. Like, because what I teach is the paranormal stuff that's in the Bible. I teach, okay, so you said Huff Paranormal is like Ghost Adventures. He just investigates the afterlife, and it's a good channel. I don't know, man. I'm iffy, man, when it comes to, he does spirit boxes and stuff like that. Listen, there's a band I just fell in love with called Spirit Box, and I know that's where it comes from. I'm iffy on a lot of that. I don't, I'm open to being contacted by the other realm. I don't know how open I am of me contacting it, as far as disembodied spirits of people who once existed. There's a lot of warning about that in the Old Testament of like, why consult the dead on the behalf of the living? Listen, we've covered this subject on here many times. Like, just because they're on the other side doesn't mean they're enlightened. Just because they're on the other side doesn't mean that, like, that they're not bad people, but I think there's a lot of trickery too when it comes, and that's what we got to be careful of and for is the trickery in all of this stuff. There's trickery in the paranormal, on Ghost Adventures, especially in the editing. If there's any editing, if there's any music that comes into play in these videos, yeah, you gotta be careful. Because the whole thing will be just this intense music. What is that? Cut the commercial. Boom. Right? So that's a production team. The same thing happens in churches. We have to be wary of charlatans. And so I think operating in the spirit of doubting Thomas, that I want to see. Seeing is believing, but then seeing ain't believing when the eyes can be deceiving, right? So you have to be careful with people, and even with ourselves, with our own delusions. And I'll just being into like ufology and angels and stuff, and going right into flying penguin, like perfect synchronicity. Martin, I was about to talk about this. Martin says, what are your thoughts on CE5 events and what they really are? Why would they contact us or respond? So with that, I was actually about to go into that a little bit with my CE5 experiences, which changed my life 100%. Trying to make sense of what you're seeing. Like, because we'll see, because trust me, like you'll see a plane, and because you want to see a UFO, like, and you see an airplane, and you're just convinced it's a plane, it's a UFO, until it just goes above your head, and you're like, oh man, that was really. And so you'll see a satellite and think it's a UFO. You'll see all kinds of, military aircraft that we have, and you're convinced that it's a UFO. So we have to be skeptics. But I think that is the key to a true encounter, is being a skeptic. And not just out there, CE5, asking for a UFO, and a plane goes by. You see the plane, but you just seen a light. Because listen, when airplanes are headed towards you, the light is super bright, and you just see the super bright light in the sky. And if you don't hear anything, you're like, oh, I see a UFO. And there could be a lot of satellites and a lot of things that you're seeing that aren't that. So to go around and like write a book or say that you've seen these things, you have to be your own skeptic. Say, you had to rule out everything that could have been. So with enough UFO experiences and enough of ghost videos, if one of them's real, then there is some type of proof of the existence of an afterlife. So Martin says, what are your thoughts on the CE5 events, what they really are, and why would they contact us or respond? I definitely would recommend Dr. Stephen Greer's documentary, Protocol. Not just him, the two main people, Dr. Stephen Greer, James Gilliland with the East City Ranch, and a lot of the work that Ed Grimsley brought to the table as well, with the use of night vision goggles. And I just interviewed his right-hand man, his partner, Bob Oliver, last week. We had a really good talk, and this guy was in the field doing stuff with him, and they would take people out and get to see all of this stuff. And so what's my take on it? My take is that it's angelic. My take is that in my personal prayer time and communion with God the Father through the Holy Spirit, asking for sightings. Why? Because I seen it on a video, or I wanted to know for sure. Like, I wanted to know. And so I went out, not one time, hours upon hours. I was working a job that allowed me to do it. My job allowed me to be outside at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning in a field, looking up, praying to Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya, Ahaya Ashar Shaya, I am that I am, my Father who loves me, who if I ask for a fish, he won't send me a serpent. If I ask for a loaf of bread, he won't send me a rock or a stone. If I ask to see one of his angels, the seraphim, the cherubim, the beings of light, that's what seraphim are, fiery serpents, he's not going to let me see a demon. You preface it. Just preface it. Say, hey, God, if your angels are out there, can I see one? And I did that. many times, almost begged for it, you know, and he let me see him like on many occasions. That blew my mind. And that just like facilitated to go deeper and deeper into spiritual awakening. One is that, I mean, there's so many aspects to it. One is that they're watching over us, that they're out there. One is that heaven is a real place outside of space and time, that is past the clouds, past outer space, that these beings are traveling back and forth from. Just like when you go into Daniel, when it talks about Gabriel and Michael, these angels that were traveling, that they were hindered because of things that they had to deal with, but they were traveling from somewhere. And so you go out in an open field asking the Father for a sighting for a seraphim. You know, it just makes it real. For some people, it messes it up. You know, they think that, you know, it scares them. It throws a wrench in the machine of their faith. Kundalini here is asking if I'm a Freemason. Nope, I'm not a Freemason. I didn't say I was a Mason. I said I was amazing. Amazing. Benny says my channel got deleted. Bro, man, you gotta play by their rules, dude. You gotta play by their rules. You have to be able to learn. You have to learn to self-censor. And even that doesn't always work. So, but you can't just be giving people the truth and like, this is the truth and I'm gonna give it to you. No, you gotta learn how to give it a little bit at a time. Little here a little, there a little. The Bible says, let your speech be seasoned with salt. It's preserver, just a little bit at a time. Just sprinkle a little bit. Talk about basketball games, but then just put a little bit of that knowledge on there about the NBA. Whatever it is, man, you gotta get in where you fit in. It's like going to work, you know, at the water cooler, and you telling people about UFOs and ETs and all that kind of stuff, and they looking at you like you crazy. I had to watch football and just look at who won so I can have something to talk about my coworkers with. I didn't want to. I want to talk to them about UFOs and aliens, and I'm trying to, and then they see me over there loading my truck, because when I used to go in early for work, I load my truck up as fast as I can and left. Everybody else is hanging around drinking coffee. Gotta go. Oh, what you in a hurry for? I gotta go, man. I didn't tell me I'm finna go park in this field and summon a UFO. I'm gonna summon UFOs. Try to take pictures of them for you guys. Didn't tell them. Telling you now. That's what I was doing. It's in my book. Kundalini says, yeah, I'm reading the comments. No, I'm not a Freemason. Govinda, what up, man? It says, what good books you recommend learning more about the seraphim? About the seraphim. You have to understand the morning stars. And the Bible you got to go into the Bible, man, for sure. But as far as outside material, I feel like if you have that notion and then ask for other material if there is any, mentioning Manly P. Hall as someone just did, listen, Manly P. Hall's Secret Teachings of All Ages covers a lot of different stuff. And so there is some stuff in there about the angelic realms and things like that, and the seraphim and the beings of light. There's a little bit in there. If you understand the book of Enoch as well, that talks about how these flames of fire would travel back and forth from heaven to earth and all those kind of things, and understanding what that word means. They are the fiery serpents. They're made out of fire, and they travel the night sky. And as they wish, they appear as men. And that's what Enoch says. Hebrews reiterates that. The book of Psalms says he makes his ministers as a flame of fire. Literally, they're created out of God's fire. God is light. In him there is no darkness. So there's fire, the fire of heaven. Yes, our God is a consuming fire. All of those things. So to understand, the seraphim are birthed out of God's fire. They're the fiery serpents. Serpents is synonymous with knowledge. The serpents carry wisdom. They are the wisdom keepers. The seraphim are the angelic beings who carry God's wisdom. So that's my thoughts on that. Somebody says I missed some comments from above. I'm trying to scroll up. Kundalini says, okay, what is there to like about Manly P. Hall? I could tell you what I like. I like the fact that he is a historian. I don't look at Manly P. Hall as as someone who's like trying to teach you a doctrine or something, or trying to teach you a philosophy. Manly P. Hall has studied it all, and he's bringing back the similarities behind what they. I'm interested in the initiation rites of the Dogon tribe. I'm interested in going through that process, and he's done the studies, and he's just presenting it to you. Is he trying to get you to go in this initiation? No, but I can look at their initiation. I can look at Christian initiations. You know, we talk. Look at baptisms, the similarities with the baptism, similarities with the Holy Spirit in other cultures, the Kundalini, if you will, like you say your name is. Like Manly P. Hall did the research and just brought the information out. So it's up to you. And Manly P. Hall has so much research that it's up to you to pick and choose. I don't think you can consume all of his work, but it's up to you to pick the topic. When you're talking about someone who has articulated the walk in the life of a mystic, what it is to choose this lonely path, or what seems to be lonely at times, Manly P. Hall has articulated it and shared it in such a way that it's comforting to know that you're not alone. And this is just the alchemical process that the truth seeker goes through. When you say yes to this call, and when you allow that energy to start to transform you, the way he articulates it and shares it from not really his perspective, but the perspective of all of these other cultures and spiritual groups and shamans all over the world. I love it. And so I love a lot of what Manly P. Hall shared. Do I believe all of it? Hell no, not at all. Do I go to Manly P. Hall about his take on Jesus? No, not at all. I go to Jesus on his take on Jesus. Do I go to Jordan Maxwell to hear about how beautiful King Jesus is? No. I go to, there's other people. It's here a little, there a little. Everybody has something beautiful to offer. Everybody does. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So whether it's Manly P. Hall or the Freemasons, listen, Freemasons got some beautiful stuff. Christian Church got some beautiful stuff. The Hindus got all of them do. Every single one of them. And it's up to you to be able to see that beauty that they bring, or to see the evil and the deception. We all got it. I got it. For sure. We all got it. I'm both. I'm as above, so below. There's a little. I'm human and divine at the same time. We have both natures within us. We have to choose to do right. We have to choose to let go of the egoic nature. It's not default. If it was default, everyone would do it. We have to choose daily, man. So anyway, I hope that helps. I love Manly P. Hall for sure. I dedicated my first works to him. I need to listen to more of Manly P. Hall. I love collecting his older books. I've had and autographed books and things by him, and it's what he's done. We get to do what we're doing because of what they've done. We're standing on the backs of giants, because there would be no truth seeker without Manly P. Hall. So it is what it is. There'd be no truth seeker without Jordan Maxwell. What it is. Jen says, are you going to the revival at the fairgrounds or nah? LOL. I kind of wanted to go, but I didn't know that it was going to be on Sunday night. And that's when I have a class I do on Sunday night, so I couldn't go. Then I seen they did it another night, but I just didn't go. I guess the idea is cool. I wanted to go, but I didn't. Nirvana says, so there are other dimensions in this world. For sure. Yeah, there's so many unseen dimensions. Well, let's just go with the physical ones right now, at least the ones that are proven, which I like to go with the microscopic dimension. It's our dimension, but it's a world within a world beaming with life that you can't prove unless you had a trained eye. That trained eye is a magnifying glass. If you have a certain magnifying glass, you can see this spiritual war that's going on your skin right now. There's literally armies fighting each other over the holy ground, the Holy Land. There's a jihad happening on your skin. They're fighting one another. Blood cells, there's viruses inside of you as well. There's like so much, like if you knew what was going on, like that always blows my mind. Like, do they have names? Do they have rankings? Do they have leisure things that they do? Like, it's so weird to see them eat each other. You see microscopic organisms consume another one and it becomes a part of them. Like, that's some wild stuff. So just think of that in the spirit world. right? It definitely mirrors this as above, so below. It's definitely going on in the spirit world if we're thinking of beings and energies that are leeching off of other beings. But then if we think about, in the physical realm, I got my cell phone over here. I got the internet over there. There's all types of frequencies that are going through, and we can't see them, but they do also impact the way that you feel, right? Too much of that stuff can make you sick. Too much of that stuff can probably cause cancer. They've done studies and research on this. These are frequencies that exist that you can't see unless you have a trained eye. And I say the trained eye as the microscope to be able to see these microscopic beings that are literally there. And on the spiritual level, the trained eye would be the third eye. Once your third eye is awakened, you can see, feel, dance with these energies. Auras. You can see auras. You can feel auras. You can discern spirits. Someone could be lying to you and you know it just by hearing their dialect and feeling the frequency that's coming off of them. So much. We're going to go deeper into a lot of this. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that, and just, I guess, teach you how to do it is really to identify what you already have, and then you can get better at it. You can grow in it for sure. 20 more likes, please. Yeah, y'all click like button, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Just be real. You rock. Gavin says, you still build every day? Yep, for sure. Go through. What do you think about the Essenes? I kind of talked about that earlier. What I know about the Essenes, I like for sure. But as far as Gnosticism, there's a lot of weird Gnostic stuff that I don't like. So, here a little, there a little with it. I think that a lot of the Gnostic texts again are forgeries. It's just my opinion. So shout out to you, Blessed Podcast. I love you, man. You got to give them people just a little bit. They can't handle all the truth. I had a friend of mine. He was just he's a Christian and he studied the scriptures, but he was always negative. But he was a warrior in virtue of the truth. And he would tell a baby, 2-year-old baby, hey, you're going to die one day. People are going to use you and mistreat you. And he would just, it's the truth, brother. People are going to take from them and women are going to break his heart. And it's just like, listen, hold on, man. Like you're projecting. You don't know, first of all, what he's going to go through, but in the name of truth, to be a jerk. In the name of truth. It's the truth, brother, and you need to know it. And me and that guy, I say we were friends. We're not really friends because of the Manly P. Hall stuff. When I started researching some, Manly P. Hall and UFO stuff, it ditched out quick, because it wasn't Christian. So Angel says, I missed some of the questions up above. I tried to reach them. Repost your question if I haven't got to it, because I'm scrolling. I know I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to try to get to some more of these. Blessed One Podcast says, I'm going on BitChute. There's a bunch of those blockchains, BitChute, and there's a lot of them that you can go uncensored, but it's kind of an echo chamber too. Like, you're not going to where the people are, so season it with salt, man. So I guess in the form of holding back, people say Truth Seeker holds back. Yeah, I'll probably hold back for sure when it comes to that. So Kundalini says, aliens aren't real. There is no other beings in outer space, only on Earth realm, in Antarctica and beyond that. Because of that statement, I know you're a flat earther. I know you're a flat earther just because of that. You believe in flat earth. Could be. You could be right. Who knows? Find out one day. And then there's a lot of going back and forth of aliens are real in the chat. So, all right, Martin, do you see a time where we evolve to function in other dimensions and openly interact with angels and beings? I do. And it's, obviously our ancestors in antiquity believed that, and it was more real. Chris Carter's big on this, before the time of the Renaissance and Industrial Revolution and all of that, where we gave up a lot of our birthright and the magic and myth and fairies and angels and gnomes and elementals that we shared the earth with. and a lot of that's been lost to us. So, um, and I've just been vocal about it. I'm not looking for a new age or a next age or something to come. I want a revival of the things that they had. There's things that we already have access to. We don't have to worry about a shift in the age and a shift in consciousness. There's things that are available that we have access to now, that our ancestors had. And you read that in antiquity books and spirituality and interacting with those beings and stuff. So thank you, Heartline, for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, are we going to get closer to that? Is it going to be more, for sure, man. For sure. Technology could even be a part of that too, with AI and this stuff having a mind of its own. Like, it's kind of weird. But I mean, if you look at, and I got a lot of this from Michael Tessarian has done a lot of work on showing these beings in antiquity that, they believed that these entities would walk around town, and these entities. And when we go back we're talking about angels or gods, the Elohim, that these were superhuman beings that dwelt down here with us. I mean, there's even weird theories that I have, and I know it's painted there, and a lot of people believe this, is that, when we read the Bible and these guys who were able to live for 500 years, it's because they were, superhuman. They weren't like us. They were different. They were guardians that came down here, and they were given the law, and they were special people. They were a little bit different. And maybe the longer they stayed here, in the fall, they begin to decay and die. And where, Psalm 82, I think it is ye are all gods, but today you'll die like men. Sons of Lamech. The earth is rare, but still one of the gardens out there. All these species on this little rock, mathematical certainty that aliens exist. Plus, I've seen ships and witnesses. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I do like Kundalini, the talking about the flat earth thing or whatever. The theory that it's water, that outer space is water, that we're in a dome and outer space is water, like it's all liquid. And that's interesting. I do like that for many reasons. I do find that interesting. Obviously there's water all around us, and more when we go up into the atmosphere, right? Into the clouds and in even higher. I do like the fact that people say that, like, looking at the stars looks like a flashlight in the water. Like if you have a glass of water and you hold a light on the other end, how it's like changing, and depending on the way you're looking at it and in between, how it looks like that. I find that as an interesting theory about the stars and things that are beyond this globe. But even that, if you believe in the globe, then what's beyond the globe? Nothing. Like, is it more globe? Is it like concrete? Like, it's kind of weird. But I like to think about that stuff, and I respect your, the things that you've learned. I don't respect I don't respect the matter of fact stuff, though, just to be straight, which this is what you've studied, this is what you believe. Hey, there's a reason you believe it. The flying penguins, I believe we will. I was wondering if he did earlier, but I think he missed the question. Okay. Kundalini says we would have seen aliens walking around by now on Earth next to mankind. What if your government is at war with them? What if your government really are bad people? What if they're not good people? What if Trump's not a good dude? What if Biden's not a woke dude? What if Kim Jong-un is not a woke dude and these people over the UN? What if they're not woke? What if they are what if they are hurting people? What if they're feeding individuals food that they know is not food? What if they're doing experiments on their own people? Like, what if they're not righteous? Just think for a minute. If Trump or whoever, Trump ain't nothing, but the people above Trump, what if they're not righteous? Then, and what if they're at war with the angels? What if the meek shall inherit the earth. And the people who have the earth right now, Job says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. What if the people who are ruling right now are the wicked? They have people in concentration camps. They allow evil and wickedness to take place. What if that's really going on? Which I believe is. Hypothetically, though, maybe you don't. And maybe, let's say if the angels are out there, and that is true, and that the angels are in heaven and they travel back and forth from heaven to earth. What if they're at war? What if when the meek inherit the earth, then whoever's in power right now has to give up their throne for the coming peace, for the Mashiach, for the Messiah? Whether that be angels, whether that be aliens or Jesus or whatever you want to put into that narrative, there's going to be a coming of power. When I know the scriptures are true when it says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people mourn. We're in a time of mourning, for sure. And we guessed a while ago, which is going on about this Messiah that they're waiting on, that has not come yet. So there is going to be some type of turning of power. And who you believe these ruling elite families are, gets into some really interesting questions. But if you're at war with these beings and they eradicated this stuff and got them off the planet, and there's a lot going on. I'll say that. Advanced technology that will be at war. And that when, I'll say this, don't be so surprised if there is this the fake alien invasion and what everybody's talking about, if it's really Christ coming back with his chariots to come and have that exchange of power. Whatever it looks like, whether you think they're UFOs or whether they're just these beings, whatever it looks like there's going to be a change of power for sure, I believe. So that's why I'm not a full preterist, Martin. But other than that, listen, I'm with you. Everything else has happened, but there's going to be some type. At least I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that there's coming a time when every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. Well, maybe that's when you die. Maybe that's when you die. Who knows? I'm hopeful, and I'm training for utopia for sure. So yeah, that's why you might not see them walking around. They've gotten rid of that stuff. They're taking the magic away from us. So we'll go through some more comments here. D. Martin says, Manly P. Hall, Terrence McKenna, Jordan Maxwell, so special to have learned and hear their lectures. But like True Seeker says, Jesus is the way. For sure. I'm not going to ask, John MacArthur how to function in my spiritual gifts. I'm not going to ask him. I'm not going to ask Paul Washer how to function in spiritual gifts and how to access higher states of consciousness in the dream state. Where do we go when we dream? You're not. This man has given his life to study this one thing. So when it comes to that one thing, listen, I'm open to see what you got to say. But why are you talking about this and you ain't never, I'm not finna ask, any of those dudes about plant medicine. I'm going to ask somebody who's never experienced it what their opinions are. I don't give a damn about your opinion. I'm going to go to somebody who's experienced it. Let me talk to someone who's leaving their body every night, who's engaging in the etheric realms, and who has come back with some kind of tangible proof. And what is that tangible proof? Listen, you know what I'm saying? Manifestation, a life transformed, like whatever. Like, that's relative, I'd say. Your proof of what it is. For me, it's a life transformed. People want proof of a God. People want proof of Jesus. And how can you prove it? Listen, my only proof is in that when I work the system works for me. When I follow the teachings of Christ, the type of person that I become and am becoming and already am, but I allow that to shine every time that I say yes, every time that I respond with love, every time that I do that I put to death my egoic nature, my fleshly nature that has to be put and brought under submission, that is changing the world each time. Listen, I know the fruit. I know that every move is a calculated step, not just for me, but the collective. And when we're talking about waiting on that Messiah, listen, we are that Messiah. You're the only Bible that some people will ever read. And I do believe that the second real biblical narrative return of Christ is him living in our hearts. We are the light of the world, and Christ has come back and is living engaged in the hearts and lives of every believer, whether you're Christian or not, whether you choose love. I mean, the book of John says that Christ is that light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world, that there was a spark of hope, that essence of God within each and every one of us. And it takes a holy man, it takes a prophet, it takes a stargazer to be able to speak to that, to be able to blow upon that light, ignite that light within you. I'm gonna try to keep going. I don't know how much camera time I got left. My camera's heating up. I haven't never had this thing on this long, but I'm gonna try to keep going. Go through some more questions. Kundalini says, thanks for sharing your thoughts on Manly P. Hall. For sure. What are some quality UFO and ET podcasts you like? Stephen Greer and James Gilliland. When it comes to UFOs, for sure. And I know people hate Stephen Greer. People call him a Mason, and people call him, controlled opposition. They call him all kinds of things. But I really like Stephen Greer and the CE5 Initiative, as well as James Gilliland. So all of their videos and lectures and all of that stuff with free energy, how to initiate contact, all of that stuff. You got to go back to where this stuff started with. So for sure, go check out those guys. Most of my stuff is inspired by their stuff anyway. So Samurai says, I've listened to all your podcasts on that subject and I like it. Love it. Keep it up, brother. Thank you. Exactly. It's all a daily sacrifice and a choice. Yeah. Choose this day who you'll serve. And then choose tomorrow who you're going to serve. Angel Blessing said, B says too, Angel. Never mind, y'all talking back and forth. Rob says you still have a lot to learn. For sure. 100%. Never claimed. Be wary of the ones who claim that they got it figured out. I will say that. That's Jordan Maxwell. Never trust the person who claims to have the truth. But you can always trust the person who is truly seeking it. Never trust the person who claims that they have arrived. I'm going to keep reading some of your comments. I don't know how far behind I am. You guys know. Awakening with Daniel Levitt says, Odes to Solomon. I suspect we're channeled from living the Akashic records, equal the host of heaven. The book of life. Another question I have from Angel says, is if God is so powerful, why does he allow souls to still roam around confused after death? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what is, I don't think I've ever died. So I can't, it's really hard to say for most of us to say, maybe they're still learning. Maybe they're being put through a purgatory. Maybe they're having to watch, life continue without them. Who knows? Like, I don't know. But I know it serves a purpose. I'll say that. I believe it serves a purpose. Connor says, have you researched much of Greek culture, like their gods, and how much truth do you think there is? My research from that was early on, and it was influenced by understanding the Nephilim and the gods of the Bible, and the war that happened between the gods, or the Nephilim, and so, or the war of the Titans, that there was this big fight, and so a lot of people believe that is written down and recorded in the Greek mythologies, that this was the writings of these giant beings and giants fighting each other, the Clash of the Titans and all these superheroes and those kind of things, that was recorded in that. So from my study, it was definitely tilted with the Genesis 6 theories and those kind of things. So but I'm not an expert by any means on that. Angel said, once someone who is used to their life of evil and they do come on the other side and are channeled, wouldn't they be cleansed? Or maybe would be an evil spirit pretending to be them? No, I don't think that you're not cleansed just because you go to the other side. I mean, that's why you got to be wary of what got me possessed. You know what I'm saying? Or asking what spirits were here that want to talk and hang out. Listen, you got to be when you going into the other realm, you got to understand that like there could have been someone who died in your home that was a pedophile, and you're trying to channeling and you're giving like these open doors in your mind and in your aura for these beings or disembodied spirits, whether they're negative entities or whether they were negative people. Even if it's not them, let's just say their essence still lingers. The spirits that was on them when they died, those spirits are still on the body. That person's soul could be in heaven. That person's soul could be in hell, whatever you believe. But that the essence or those demons or those entities that were on them are still roaming that house. The ghost thing is interesting because I find it is that a lot of these could be traumas that happen, and these are recordings that are playing over and over. Because a lot of times when it comes to the ghost thing and seeing these kind of beings in your home, they're doing this, they're like reenacting the way that they died over and over. You know, it's like it's a loop, like something traumatic happened that it just pressed into our reality as a recording that is playing over and over. Now that's an interesting take when it comes to that. It's not actual the ghost of that person, but it is a recording that is just playing in eternity, echoed in that space. It's an imprint, if you will. I think that's interesting. Keep reading here. Love you guys. Heartline says you should make a song with Nako. I got a picture with Nako. Before Nako and those guys blew up, we went and seen him in New Orleans, and we got to hang out at his concert a little bit. Got a song, I got a song with Hope. Me and Hope did a song, and it's an amazing song, one of my most popular songs. So, which she was the djembe player and singer in the band, and Hope is an amazing person, and I did a podcast with her too. But I love Nako for sure. He's under a lot of scrutiny, and if I did a song with him, I'd probably get a lot of scrutiny too. But I would still do it though. I would do the song with Nako just because of what he's going through. But not let that mean anything. His music means a lot to me, and a huge part of my awakening for sure. Great Spirit. First time I heard Great Spirit, plastered in the love of God and seeing God and everything for sure. Try to keep. I know there's conversations going on, so trying to keep up with the conversation and the questions is a little hard, but I'm trying to read them here. B says, how long have you been growing your locks, and is it freeform or nah? They're lovely. Man, I cut them. I grew them out, and I started growing them like 2015. I had locks by like 2016, and then I just spur of the moment cut them. And I tell you, when I cut them, I fell into depression when I cut my dreads, and there was a spiritual connection, and the reason I cut them and what it represents to me, and the way of the Nazarene and this set apart lifestyle or whatever. When I cut them, like it felt so bad, and so much work and energy that goes into them. Like for months, I was depressed for months. I literally was depressed until I got them again. And there was a piece of that. So I've been growing these ever since I cut them, which was 2016. So a couple of years now, 2017, something like that. And yeah, they're most of them are freeform. I don't go get them done or nothing like that. Most of them, there's still new locks being formed in them or whatever. I do try to separate them because they try to lock together, but my wife hates them. She don't like to see me touching them or playing with them or nothing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, they're freeform. That's why they're not as cool or whatever if you go to the place and get them done. But I think that's cool too, that they are free flow and new ones are forming. They're very special to me for sure. Definitely connected to my spirituality, I think. Kundalini says, okay, but why would God make other planets? Like, I think that's almost a selfish question. Like, why reverse the question? Why would God make us the only ones? Why would God make the only this or only that? So to insinuate, you know what I'm saying, to read into that question. Why would he? I don't know. Why wouldn't he? Let's ask that, is what I'm saying. So why wouldn't God, you know, I mean, I'm convinced that even, what we call angels could be like a really, really advanced civilization that are traveling back and forth to Earth and have been since we were primitive. Since we were primitive, they've been watching over us. They're in the oceans. They're in volcanoes. They're in mountains. They're in crevices of the earth. Like, they're still here. So, and there's a lot of interesting theories and pictures and videos and experiences that people have had. So I don't think we're alone by any means, but what would we would call them? We would call them angels. They show up with advanced technology and advanced spirituality and those kind of things. And so, who knows? I know I'm way behind on these questions, guys, but I'm trying to read. He says 7 days of the week are named after the planets, but Earth isn't one. That's because we are the center of the universe. That's a very weird theory. Those are named after pagan gods. Like each day of the week. Monday is the moon. They work for the moon worship. Sunday and Saturday, Saturn. Sunday is venerating the sun. I don't think that we're the center. I think it's again another conceited thought, that we are. There's definitely, and I know the flat earthers has its own religion, you know what I'm saying, its own way to interpret things, and so you have to come up with other ways of what it is. Because I know you're in the flat earth, like I already know. You haven't even said it. And so you have to come up with a reason, where these beings are coming from, or what are they. And so most of them believe that they're just interdimensional beings, and there's other dimensions, but not other planets or outer space or whatever the case is. So I understand that. That would undo a lot of UFO sightings, though, that are stuff that's coming from outer space. Literally, stuff's coming from outer space, for sure. In and out of those stars, whether they're stargates, there could be a lot of different things. But I think that they're alive. I go back to Enoch that says that they record the deeds of humanity, of what men are doing, and they report back to God. Like, I believe that, Read some more. If everything is expanding, then everyone is the center of the universe at any given time. Hey, that's deep, man. That's deep. Read The Antichrist by George W. Carey. If it's flat, then we are the center of a universe. We're the center of our universe. What about another flat planet? What if they're all flat? Well, they're not, but, I'm reading. Sorry. I know it's not good radio. Thank you for the donation, Gavin. QAnon is backed by some Palladians. Oh, God. No, brother. Don't let it take you, bro. I think QAnon is backed by not Palladians. What is the opposite of a Palladian? Draconian. Draconian is out there deceiving people, creating a false narrative that if you can get enough people to believe it, then hopefully it will become real, and tie into everyone's narrative. Good job. They're talking about it everywhere. I'm not a Q guy at all. I think it's demonic. It's messed up a lot of people. A lot of grandmothers, too. A lot of people's grandmothers out here believing in this stuff. Hey, Rita says, hey, just got here. Namaste. Any word of Jordan Maxwell? Yes. Yes, I talked about it a little earlier. He's doing better, and we're going to be working on some stuff. So we may do a show. I don't know. But we're going to be working on some documentary stuff together. But he is doing better, for sure. Kundalini says, I believe in reincarnation. Yes. No, you do. Okay. I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back with another family, new friends. Listen, I'm content. I enjoy my family. I enjoy this life that I've created with myself. I don't want to come here. I don't want to forget again. I don't want to come here and forget and be cast into nothingness and try to remember. And no, I don't want to do it. I'm content. I want to be with my family in eternity. You know what I'm saying? My friends in eternity. My daughter, my wife, my brother, my mother. I want to be with my family. I want to reunite with my ancestors. I don't want to come back here as a dog or come back here as a McKinley or a Smith. I want to be me. And I know that that's wishful thinking because I won't exist. This truth seeker, whatever the hell I am, it won't be here like this. This is going to fade with time, and I'll be forgotten. And it's scary, very scary. That's why I want something of me to remain intact, but I don't think it is. Death is very scary for me, and you guys know it'll mess with my head. I freak myself out the more I think about it. How finite this life is. That's why I got to read the Bible and read about the hope of eternity of King Jesus and being with him and forever. We got to convince ourselves. Thank you for the donation, love girl, lava girl, lava love girl. Thank you. QAnon is arresting the royal families. He's not. He's not at all. He's not doing it. I don't believe it, bro. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to butt heads, but I would say he's not. Unequivocally. Kundalini says, you keep coming back here to earth until you learn what God truly wants you to learn. Could be. There's always could be. I don't believe that. And I'm trying to learn it now. You know what I'm saying? I am trying to learn it now. And I do believe that we're in school, for sure. So there is definitely some overlapping stuff there. I believe we're in school. We're in a mystery school, a universal school. And the only way to pass the test is to respond like Jesus. With love, with compassion. Don't take nothing personal. Don't assume, and that determines where you go when you leave here. And I don't think heaven or hell, but I think of roles in judging the angels and different responsibilities that you will be given in eternity. At least I hope. And even reading the scriptures, I'm pretty convinced of that. But maybe some people can come back. But I do understand the great cloud of witnesses and how Jesus was able to interact with his ancestors and his predecessors from beyond the grave. Like, that's in the Bible. Like, so a part of me, these are people who have attained whatever you want to call it. They have mastered, they respond with love, and so they're being taught. Their role is to teach from the other side. And Jesus being the greatest, to be able to teach us from the other side. He knew that. Blessed says, the good Palladians and the Octarians serve Source, Jesus as Father, and go to Jesus Christ for counsel. I agree. I agree that we could call these, Palladians angels for sure. Form of angels. It won't be the angels. There's a lot of angels. Angels are messengers. Martin says, agreed. That is the true second coming. Christ manifests fully in each of us. Yeah. And now the goal is to get Christ to manifest in our leaders, right? And then that would be peace on earth. So then we would bring utopia here. Blessed says, there is no non-believers. There is just unawakened. Deep. Crick says, I believe UFOs are the veil being seen through. Flying Penguins. Martin says, I'm a fan of Steven. Great. I love Steven. He gets a lot of flack, though. Just know that going into it. Classic interview you need to watch when it comes to our space brothers or angels, whatever you want to call them. It's between Stephen Greer and Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot. And I had Carrie Cassidy on the show. I mentioned this to her, but it's a very heated interview where I would say Stephen Greer believes that they're angels, they're angelic. There is a code of conduct, there is a level of ascension that you must reach as a civilization, as beings, before you can take your place amongst the stars. That's why we're not welcomed up there, because we've not ascended. And so across the board, he believes that these beings are good. I hold that stance as well. Now, below them, the beings on this earth and demons and all that kind of, this is a whole nother story. But there was an interesting debate that they had, Kerry Cassidy and Stephen Greer. If you look it up, it's really good. So I definitely send people that way to check it out. Robin says, any tips to give people who struggle to get it together and be disciplined? Just how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And you may have to give up some things. You may have to do some things more, change your habits. How bad do you want it? And nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to give it to you. So knowing that, and how bad do you want it? If you don't want it that bad, you ain't willing to fight for it. But there's an equal playing field, and technology is here, and we can do anything that we want to do. We can become anything that we want to become. So that takes consistency. That takes continuing to show up. And how bad do you want it? Listen, my podcast and be able to do this for a living. I'm talking to you guys for a living. People are donating, man. I get to wake up and hang out with beautiful people and talk about spirituality and create and work on music and courses and everything that I'm doing. I had to work hard for this, like to create this, and to show up on the back end. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that goes into the back end and money and buying equipment and cameras and internet and, there's a lot that goes into it, but I wanted it more than anything. And I created it. And you guys help co-create. If you burn with a passion for what you love to do, you'll find people who will travel across the globe, across the country to come and watch you burn. Unapologetically. You'll find the others. You'll build together. You encourage one another. Find the others. Find your tribe. Find people in your circle who are doing what you want to do. Learn from them. Write it down. Write down goals. Listen, make it real practical. There's ways to do it. All of that stuff comes in. I believe in manifestation. I believe in positive affirmations. I do believe in hard work, but I do believe in smart work as well. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to make up a new way to do it. We can add to and stand upon, again, the back of giants, people who are already doing it. So there's a lot. You just got to figure out, and it all comes down to how bad you want it. There's interviews that I didn't want to do. There's times that I just wanted to lay up and just felt depressed and didn't feel like it, but I put on that face and I pushed play, I pushed record. I sat here, had some of the most beautiful, compelling conversations that I had. I was trying to back out of them. Some of the most popular episodes, don't want to do them. I honestly don't even want to be straight with you. I don't want to, I'll say it, forget it. I don't want to do another podcast with Jordan Maxwell, but I know you guys want to hear a talk with Jordan Maxwell. So there's something there. And then this is where the creative is caught in a balance, because you have to figure out what the people want and give it to them. Put it in the pill that they can swallow. Make it look good. Get you a dope backdrop. Get you a nice camera. Like, share it with the people like the way that they want it. But then again, you have your thing that you're trying to bring to the table. And so all the YouTubers now will tell you to make it big on YouTube or to succeed in anything is find out what the people want and give it to them. And you can simply do that. I can do that. And I do it by going and look at my videos and seeing what gets the most engagement. Seeing what gets the most play. Now understand too that, my audience is different than another audience that something else would work. And the interesting thing, what I do is I don't just stay on one thing. So I know we have an eclectic audience. And we like a lot of different things. So I try to cover it all. And I'm open to that. I'm cool with that. But finding out what resonates with people, and I guess if that's the case, it's like it doesn't really matter what resonates with you. So for me, it would be like to kind of do both, to like figure out what other people want to hear about, and let's talk about it. And in the midst of that, weave in what I think and what I believe and what I feel on it. I've done it. I'm continuing to do it. It is a form of networking as well. I don't have, my Jordan Maxwell interviews are 100,000 views. I don't have 100,000 fans. I'm sorry. Jordan Maxwell does. And people have fallen in love with my content through that Jordan Maxwell interview. So there is networking. There is working together and be open and honest to do that. And that's what I'm doing. But I think for the most part, when I do get solicited, I work with publicists, so I do get solicited for guests, and I'll read their bio and I'll go to their website and check it out, and literally I'll give it 2 minutes. And if I'm looking around and say, okay, this will make an interesting conversation, I'll do it. I get a lot of people on the show. I'm booked out till mid-April, with all of these people sending requests to be on the show. So if it was up to me, I get in, we on a roller coaster, man. I get in pockets where I only want to talk about Jesus, or I only want to talk about aliens or whatever. And, but I know that's not what people want. Maybe some do, and you'll find those creators that do. So I champion the fact that, listen, we're going to talk about Jesus and aliens. And we're going to talk about mushrooms. And we're going to talk about breath work, breathing techniques to leave your body and go engage the spirit world. We're talking about it all. No stone unturned. We're talking about it all. That's what you get. And that's what I want to do. I'm eclectic. We all are. And I recognize that. And most of you guys are open to all of it, right? You want to talk about all of it. You want to explore it all and stuff. And that's cool. And I think that's, my audience is a little bit smaller because it's not far right. It's not far left. It's in the middle. And I kind of get a little, I guess overflow from other people's stuff from the right or left. So we talk about it all. It's just how it is. I've come to grips with that, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. You find something that offends you, you leave, find something you don't like, you leave, whatever. Any tips on people who, okay, I read that one already. Angel says, yes, exactly. Just like prophecy is symbolic. Sometimes it's just, this is the same thing with revelations. Yeah. I agree with your outlook on reincarnation, Kundalini. Have you, okay. And you said past life regression. See, I believe, and this is my wrench in the system, and I like that you guys stick around even after I agree or believe or whatever, and I don't judge you or whatever. I understand. But I think that a lot of past life regressions are past life suggestions that I can suggest to you. Close your eyes. Even like a lot of UFO abduction scenarios. Close your eyes. Okay, you're laying on the table. Look to your left. What do you see? What do you see to your left? Oh my God, there's a little man with a knife. It's like, come on, these are suggestions, man. You're trying to bring this stuff out saying that it's truth. It's truth if it has real world implications, That's what I say. Fry says, Jesus is the truth and the only way to the Father. And I absolutely agree. I do. Because I believe that Jesus is love. Love is the only way to God. You have to forsake the path of hatred. Forsake the path of service to self. And understand that everyone is an extension of you, and show that same love that you show yourself to everyone. And without love, it is impossible to see the Father. And Jesus is that love. Love became a person in the form of Jesus, for sure. But it's not limited to Jesus, I don't think, because we can see love in many different expressions. And I think that Jesus recognized that. Paul definitely recognized it, and spoke on it, for sure. The dead are conscious of nothing. Yeah, that's a fear, right? Alex says, and is no, okay, you're quoting scripture. Spirit can manifest. That's what I say too when people say, hey man, I can't make it to your event, but I'll be there in spirit. Well, I'm like, if you're going to be there in spirit, show an apparition. Like if your spirit's going to be here, like send the energy and make an apparition and say hello to everyone who made it. If you're going to be there in spirit, B says, do you think you ever arrive at truth? No, they're just levels, man. It's so levels, and it would be boring to be a guru or just a teacher, just up there. Like you go deeper, man. That's the crazy thing. There is no bottom. There's always a new layer. But I think that there are levels of consciousness, though, that as a student, you think you figure it out and you think you have it all figured out and you arrive. And I like that, because then there's pride. Pride comes before a fall, but then it takes you falling on your face to fall into the lap of grace. You thought you had it all figured out, and you realize you don't. You don't. You don't. You don't. You don't. Try mushrooms. Many of us go into there thinking that we're high and mighty and know it all. And then mushrooms grabs you by the, come here, boy. What the hell are you telling people about the wormholes, how to talk to Palladians? What the hell are you doing? I got something to show you. I'm sorry. Come on, man. You think you know until a gnome walks up to you and outside as you're contacting the elementals. Think you know until your best friend tells you, look over there. And you look and he stabs a knife in your back. Damn, boy, I didn't know you was going to do that. Damn, I thought I knew. Listen, we are receiving and experiencing epiphanies upon epiphanies, and the mystery of eternity and of life in the spirit world. I've given my life to study it. I'm not an expert, and I'm left with more questions at this point than I have answers. I wish I had more answers. I can write more books and become an expert on the subject. But the more and the deeper that I go into the mystery, the less answers I have. And you'll find that from any seeker. I think that's what Jordan Maxwell was talking about. Never trust a person who claims that they have arrived. Always trust the person who is seeking with an open heart. For sure. So I don't think you ever arrive. Flying Penguins also wants to know, what is your thoughts on hell? What is its purpose? Eternal. I don't believe in eternal punishment, you know. I guess there's some ideas that, I guess there was an idea that of annihilation or stepping into oblivion, that you cease to exist. And so a lot of Old Testament thought believed that. We know that the Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons believe something similar, that you just don't exist anymore. There's no mention of hell in the Old Testament, of a literal place of torment. It's something new, and it definitely played off of this understanding of Dante's Inferno and the Greek lake of fire and that kind of thing. And it was definitely symbolic. It was something that was, explained of being symbolic in the New Testament. I don't think it's a physical place that we go to for eternity. Now, thinking of that oblivion or that annihilation, that, hey, when you die, you're just dead. You don't exist anymore. For me, that is scarier than hell. And y'all don't get me worked up. My wife is going to get on to me. I'll be talking to my wife about this stuff, freaking her out. But I would rather burn in hell than not exist, because at least you're conscious of where you are. You know what I'm saying? And we've had this, and it's cool to explore these concepts, you know. Would you rather, you know? But Jesus defeated death, defeated hell and the grave, and it's taken the keys to give me that. Give me that. You're stepping into eternal life, paradise. So Jesus, where the idea of an Old Testament where you don't exist or you go to hell, whatever you want to choose. But Jesus defeated that, and he welcomes us into eternal life, that we get to exist forever in Christ, in that love, that grace flood that welcomes everybody in. Now, what about purgatory? Now, what about this school, punishment, existing on the other side? I don't know. Very interesting. I've got some interesting theories, and I don't know. I've never died. But yeah, that's my belief, you know. Everything serves its purpose, for sure. Chris says, if you allow the thought that there is a person who past spirit can manipulate your aura. Yeah, if you believe it, man, you create it. So that's what we're talking about, you know. Chris says also, do not host a spirit that is not from source. Yeah. Yeah. But again, with the wrench in the machines is that demons are from the source too. So demons are sent from God, for sure. They have to get access, and they serve a purpose. So, you know, I don't welcome anything unless it's love and light, you know. So that's where that comes from. They say it's demons messing with people, talking about the ghosts and all that. Holy Ghost is the only glimpse we need, the only ghost we need. Hey, I heard that. Holy Ghost. But you got to understand too, ghost is spirit. It's the breath. And you, when you die, your body gives up the ghost. Jesus gave up the ghost. The word breath. If you look up the word breath, pneuma is spirit. Children of the breath, breath work. The breath is a ghost. The ghost is the breath. And when you die, you follow that breath goes back to its creator. When your body stops working and that breath leaves, you breathe your last breath. The breath leaves. That spark. Scientists said they call it the soul. They've measured it. It is the breath. It is the animation. It's what animates you and keeps you alive. We follow that breath back to the creator who gives it. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. The Almighty has formed me and has given me breath, the book of Job. It is the breath that allows us to claim ourselves, and it connects us to each other, to all sentient life, and to God, and to the spirits, and to the demons, and to the angels. We're all connected with that breath. If we share in that oxygen, that breath. Keep reading here. LJ Blu-ray says, I saw aliens 25 years ago in my local library asking about the Celestine prophecy. I was afraid to talk to them, but I wish I had. They looked like Nordics. They looked to be perfect humans. Wow. Man's heart will fail for the fear of things to come upon the earth in the end. It's scary. Scary to think about. And I don't know if I'm sure you're quoting scripture because you're talking about God and scriptures and stuff. But again, when you go into this preterist understanding, is that those people who went through that, the people who wrote those scriptures lived through it. Some of them, the ones who were obedient to the prophecy of Christ. Listen, when you see these things coming, run to the mountains. Are you finna run? How does that in your life? How does that happen for us? We try to interpret it through our lens of now. And Christ says, run to the mountains. Where are you going? Are we going to like Wisconsin? Are we going to Colorado? Is it the only place? No, man, these people have night vision satellites that can see wherever you are. You're not running from these people. It's over. Those prophecies and those fears came upon those people. They were crucified at the stake. All types of atrocities happened to those people. They paid with their neck. Their heads were cut off because of their love for Jesus and for the gospel. All of that. They were hunted as game. The children on Sunday mornings went to the Coliseum to see them fight a lion. Let the best man win. Listen, we all, even a podcast today, everyone wants to be the people of the book, even when it comes to end time scenarios and Jesus is coming back. We want to do it. We want to have purpose. We want to have meaning. We want to be special. You are special. But those people went through that stuff, and we need to respect that, man. We need to tell their stories, man. You need to learn about Polycarp. You need to learn about these people who stood up for what they believed in, and God did all kind of miracles, and just like the name of Christ was praised, and they never denied him until their last breath, until that breath left them. Like all of these great stories of these people, I feel like it is a slap in the face for us to insert ourselves into their narrative. I really do. And even much so to expect a negative outcome, because it changes your brain. You begin to expect all of this stuff to come upon you. Oh, they finna kill us, man. They finna kill it. I'm going to tell you, listen, even though I fight against this stuff, listen, I thought we was all going to die. When COVID rolled out, I thought we was all dead. For sure. I didn't speak on it. I didn't share theories. I was scared to death. I thought they were coming. I thought they were going to come and kill everybody who's not going to take the vaccine. Listen, I thought all of this stuff was happening. But I did not speak on it. I only spoke on the truth of what I knew, and that I'm not promised tomorrow, and neither are you. Your heart can stop beating now. You're not promised tomorrow. So why would you think of these crazy end time scenarios? And listen, we're in uncertain times. We've always been in uncertain times. These people have been ruling since the beginning. There's nothing new. They've been Jesus, Herod. He had to face Herod. Like, the young Hebrew boys were up against, um, Nebuchadnezzar and Nimrod and all these satanic rulers of the day. There hasn't been an exchange of power. The wicked have been here. They're still here. So we need to move into a place of gratitude. For what? I lost my job. Take a breath. As long as there's air in your lungs, as long as you have that breath, you have opportunity. We're here. We get to experience this. We're still here, man. Let's make the best of it. So end time scenarios will suck your joy away and have you looking for the wicked in everything. Same thing, studying Freemasons, looking for the wicked in everything. Symbolism in movie. Wow, there's movies, satanic symbols in movies. There's wicked everywhere. Flip. Oh, it's real. And you got to go through it. Retrain your brain to the pure, all things are pure. Retrain your brain to see the beauty in everything. Try it. Oh, yeah, but you don't know, man. They're trying to get the kids. They're stealing the babies, man. They're kidnapping babies. Okay, well, let's flip it. Who's saving the babies? Like, do some saving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Respond. Do something. If you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at will change. It's all in your perception. You're not promised tomorrow. I wanna enjoy this life, but I don't want to be in denial either. There's some wicked stuff going on out there. These people are demonic for sure, but I'm not promised tomorrow. So why I'm here, I'm gonna try to encourage and change this scenario and be a light in the midst of the darkness. For sure. Trutharchy says there's no Satan or devils. It's all to do with your lower consciousness ego. Well, you got to embody that though. How do you tell the stories? How do you let the people know? You have to embody it. It's been done since the beginning. So we have to make characters, and we have to have allegory, and we have to. Somebody mentioned Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, and this story and symbols and quests and movies and dialogue. You gotta be able to tell these parables. How do you tell somebody and just say, hey man, give up the ego? What the hell is the ego? Well, the ego is when you do things, you try to make everything about yourself, and you just want to serve your animalistic nature. What kind of animalistic nature? Well, the animalistic nature is kind of like, a dog. When a dog gets angry, it's only going to react on the first thing that it thinks about, that it can't hold two thoughts at one time, and it just responds. It never can think and dialogue within itself and reason within itself. That's your ego. Listen, you got to be able to break this stuff down. So all of this stuff serves a purpose. And so, yeah, it is Satan. It is devils. But are they your consciousness? Everything is your consciousness. I'm an extension of your consciousness. Most of the time, your enemies are just an extension of what you don't even like about yourself. Your enemies are your ego. Donald Trump, y'all created Donald Trump. Everything that you hate about yourself became a person. An orange man. Sorry, y'all. I'm going off. Fry Rain says, Truth Seeker, have you ever cast out a demon out of a person or have seen it with your own eyes? Yes. Not only have I cast out demons or have seen it happen, I've had it happen to me. I've had demons cast out of me, man. Spirits like to leech on, whether you're dealing with demonic possession or oppression, spirits leech on to you. And so through confession, you release those spirits and whatever hold that they have on you. So for sure, this is like this is a practice, man, to make sure that you're not being guided or you're leeched off of by those kind of spirits. And if you are, they come out through changing the way that you think, through confession, forgiveness, the way that Jesus kind of operated, and it changes the way that your relationship with these entities. All of us are subject to them because they're strongholds in the mind, in the imagination. For sure. But yeah, I'm really big into spiritual warfare, for sure. So I'm just reading some of these comments. And I know I'm behind a little bit. I don't know how much, but somebody says Satan is the enemy. Yeah, the word Satan means adversary. So to say that there is no adversary, there is no yin without a yang. There is no light without the darkness. That has to exist. So there is no high frequency without a lower frequency. There is no life without death. There is no light without darkness. Like, everything coexists. And then there's all types of gradients in between that most of us seekers get to experience and look at and appreciate. It's not just white or black. It's not just left or right. There are gradients. So Satan means adversary, and it's against God's will, or that perfect will for your life of what is right, what is your destiny, if you will. And Truth Video says Satan has been fed by the movies in your subconscious. A lot has, for sure. 100%. And then we see it in the movies, and then the opposite too. Like, you can see something in the movie that's legit, and you just got that from a movie. You got it from a movie that's not real. But what? A lot of these plots from these movies are taken from ancient texts that were believed to be truth in antiquity. Fire says, I believe the scriptures, what they say about Satan and demons. Get this life correct and no need to come back. I'm with it. I'm ready to learn, man. What I need to give up, what I need to learn, I'm with it. I'm a student, for sure. Let me take the test. I'm reading. It's all about Christ consciousness. There was no literal Jesus. What truth says. Truth. You think that there is one mind that we all share? Yeah, for sure. I think that one mind is God experiencing itself as different people, but we are expressions of that, but we are connected to the one. So if that's what you're going back to, there's a global brain, if you will, a network that we're connected to. So that is a part of that one mind. Connor says, my question about reincarnation is, if they have to come back to change, what is the point of forgetting everything from previous lives? Wouldn't remembering help in changing, right? So I guess the thing is, you have to come back, in each time that you incarnate, you have to remember each life to pick up the work. I don't know. I'm a skeptic. We all should be. You should never take anybody's word for it. Blessed One says, Jurassic 5 is 4 dead rappers. They fake their death to become music industry martyrs and drive up hype and sales. Big and Pac are feds. That sucks. I like Pac. Liked him. A true seeker, here is something that can help you. Unbelief in the afterlife. No, I believe in the afterlife. I do. I don't know. I don't have to know. See, that's the weird thing when it comes to faith and the Bible and all that. People are like, if you don't believe it, then it's not going to happen. Like the rapture. You don't believe in the rapture, bro? Listen, if it happens, I'm going. I'm going with you. No, I don't believe in it. But if it happens, I'm good. I don't have to believe in it. I'm going. Well, if you don't believe in it, you're not coming with us. Like, that's weird. What up, Triple JC? Seen you last night over there on the Killer Priest podcast. Beloved Disciples Ministry says, I believe Satan appears as Lucifer and loves to sell people illumination through hidden knowledge. And when we're going a wild goose chase that leads to nowhere but confusion. I say I'd agree with them a lot of that statement. That hidden knowledge and illumination, not really, like illumination, light is light. So I wouldn't even call it illumination through hidden knowledge. If it's, I would change it. I would say they would give you darkness through knowledge, because it's not light at all. It's the absence of that light. And Lucifer is light. And Jesus was even called the morning star or the day star. It's the same thing. So Lucifer is not a being, but a title. We are the true Luciferians, the bringers of light, bearers of light, right knowledge, and understanding. Big and Pac are characters. Check out Conscious X, Fearless TV, Can Be, and Official Stolen Identity. Confusion can make you don't understand, for sure. Love is always the right answer. Lover Girl says, yep. Um, the Shroud of Turin is Jesus's burial cloth. See, I don't believe that either, man. I've had some people on who really believe that. They wrote books on it, and I just don't believe it. I know we're looking for proof. We're itching for proof, wherever we can find it, to give some validation that that was Jesus. He was real, y'all. He did exist. You know how you prove that he exists? You do what he said do, and it changes your life. That's all the proof that you need. I'm still reading. Going down here. It's angels, bro, of light. Angles of light. I get you. I get you. Angles of light. Christ is one of the many messengers. That's true. You do not forget I was born awakened, whatever you want to call it. Someone says. Reading your comments. Maybe I'll get to the end. Oh, it's a good one. John says, been hearing about Jesus not being literal in some of these Christian mystic circles. Thoughts? Yeah, there's some weird stuff in some of these Christian mystic circles. These same ones would tell you that demons aren't real either. That you created in your mind, That there's no such thing as disembodied spirits, or everything's in your mind. K. Fairchild and some of those people. You got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff that pulls you in, but then it's like some of the stuff is like just far off. You never experienced it. Never experienced it. Never been a part of a witch's coven. You never woke up with a demon breathing in your face. You never been strung out on amphetamines and experienced the demons of that realm that can only be accessed through that realm. Like, not that you created it, that what you did allowed you to experience it. So yeah, I just to be honest with you, straight up, I do believe I read the New Testament as literal. I believe in a literal Jesus as a person, as the Christ, who paid our sin debt, who took away the sin of the world. He was a perfect, spotless sacrifice. And so just the regular Christian gospel, I believe that. And but when I read the Old Testament, I do believe I believe that to be more symbolic. I believe that to be full of allegory, and the New Testament even goes into a lot of reasons why it was symbolic. So, but at the same time, it doesn't matter if any of these beings or people existed. The fact of the matter, again, as I go back, is that if you work, if it works for you, then it was real. It's all the proof you need. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's faith. So to pretend like we know, I think we're deceiving ourselves. So to me, yeah, Jesus is the essence of my faith, and is literal. It gets really dangerous, man, especially when people who have experienced those traumatic experiences as demons or possession and stuff. And then there was a lady, and I went off. If you had to go back, but there was an interview. Well, it was a Q&A I did, but this lady came to me after being a part of Kate Fairchild's group, and she had been in SRA and been in like satanic ritual abuse and satanic circles where they're like summoning demons and letting demons come live in their body, and she's seen unspeakable things. It's legit. You won't know that unless you go in that realm. I've been there, so we live to talk about it. So for somebody else who hasn't experienced that, you can't speak on it. It's myth. It's just imagination. So you'll see people like Kay Fairchild when it comes to that and say that stuff's not real. It was only real because you believed it. It only had power because you gave it power and you created it. And they told this lady that, and she sent me a message, and I was like, listen, they're real. I had to just kind of like, validate her experience. And The next day I did a live stream and just went in on just whole demons and possession, and 90% of Jesus's ministry was dealing with demons and casting out demons. And all you gotta do is change your thinking, man. Get rid of that stinking thinking and you'll be free. Oh, you only have a demon because you think you have a demon. No, this man cutting himself. Why you think children cut themselves now? Bloodletting. And now it's popular. Like, there's a lot of, come on, this is ancient stuff, y'all. This ain't new. You only have a demon because you think you have a demon. Get out of here, man. All this, everything is real. It ain't about what you believe in. Yeah, what you believe in shows itself to you. If you're looking for demons, you'll see them. If you're looking for angels, you'll see them. If you're looking for fairies, you'll see them. They're out there. Everything's there. That's the consciousness part that the brother was speaking on a while ago. Trutharchy. Everything's real. It's a matter of your consciousness, and then we create it out of that for sure. Or it allows us to see it or experience it. But no, I believe in Jesus, and I believe it's literal. I believe in demons and angels and everything. You name it, I believe in it. Crix also says, tip, your character is your belief, for sure. That's your fruit of your belief, because you act on what you believe on and it comes out of you. And I don't care if it's the other way around. You know, I don't really care what you believe if your lifestyle doesn't, you know, your character, your lifestyle, your fruit doesn't add up. Fryer says, yeah, Truth, you've been going hard for years, man. Good work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Triple JC says craftsman for sure. Killer priest. Priesthood. Wow, I'm way behind on these comments, y'all. Oh my God, chat is going off. Listen, chat is going off because I'm way behind on these comments. There's no way I can get to the bottom of this, even if I wanted to. Oh my God. Like way, I'm like an hour behind you guys. I'm trying to talk fast. I'm trying to scroll, but I'm like an hour behind. Who has the best question? Send the super chat. Put it in the super chat. Let it pop up. Oh my God. There's just so, because a lot of this is conversation too and not questions, but want to see the new people, want to see the new questions, the good ones. I'm gonna try to move through here fast, and I know that me reading it doesn't make for good internet. Well, what's up to all the new people? I see a lot of new names here for sure. Feel free to check out my channel, brother. I will. I'm gonna check it out. I don't know what else to say as I'm reading because there's so many comments. Most of them are, again, not questions, but they're, that's why you need a co-host. Somebody else can take over. That's what we're gonna do in the Mystic Circle. It's coming soon. We're gonna have a round table. It won't be just me looking at the camera. There'll be a couple other people looking at the camera, and we'll be bouncing ideas off of other people. It'll be fun. Let me know if you want to be a part of it. Open for some new stuff in 2021, man. TheMysticCircle.net. Make sure you guys go and check out what we already have there. We're doing breath work every Sunday, and we do prayer and meditation and stuff on Thursday nights if we do it live, or we do it behind the scenes, just hang out and discussion with people in the community. But there's other ways that you can get involved, and the goal is to have stuff every night, you know, have people that I trust to be able to lead things every night of the week, and you just kind of pick and choose what you want to be a part of. We're building it. It's already up. Documentaries, courses, all that stuff. Fire says mushrooms is sorcery. I don't believe so. You must you may mean pharmakia. I don't think that's even a good word, because it says deception is sorcery, but the word there is used is pharmakia, and it is the talking about blending. It would be oh god, I heard a Friar donated $5. Okay, thank you. It says actual scientific evidence of the Shroud of Turin is being real here. Okay, so let me go to that. Just because you donated. First come, first serve. I don't know if you seen Joy Pugh. I did an episode with Joy Pugh.
Thank you for joining us in our discussion
and
of
she
the
is one of the
Shroud. Our
main
specialist is
people.
Dr.
And
William
this is an
Dow.
hour and
He
42
is a
minutes. I know I
physician
can't watch this, but it's a whole playlist. Thank you for sharing. I guess I just recognize, you know, how we cling to evidence, you know, and even stuff that isn't real, you know, and I'm a big critic of that. I know I am. Of, you know, going into the mountains of Mount Sinai to see if we can find wood, and they find a piece of wood, and they say this was the a plank from Noah's Ark. See, Noah's Ark really existed because we have this wood. Or going into the bottom of like the Red Sea, and there's like chariots and cogs and wheels and armor and stuff, and they say, see, this is where the you know, 6,000 years ago, that when the Egyptian army was swallowed up by the water, and they're still down there to this day, and we can find them. And you know, we hear all of this stuff that we try to use for validation to prove the Bible and stuff, and a lot of it I think is weak validations and weak points and stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff with the Shroud of Turin that I think there's holes in that story. And listen, I want it to be real more than anybody. And I already told you I'm a skeptic. And that skeptic thing has allowed me, maybe I just don't even like the way it looks. Maybe I have this image of Jesus in my mind of what he looks like, and the shroud doesn't look like him. And maybe subconsciously that's why I don't want it to be real, because he looks like this weird old man in that shroud. You know, I don't know. Who knows? Thank you for hanging out, Flying Penguins. I love you, bro. Need to have you back on soon. Love you. You do great work too, man. Going back to some more of these comments. But thank you for the donation. It means a lot. I'm trying to save up to get night vision goggles so we can go out on these CE5 expeditions. Corinne, what's up, girl? She says, hey, Derek Grosskreutz, love hearing you share your wisdom. For sure, we got to do some more stuff together. Excited about what you do. We need to collaborate for sure, cross-pollinate, all that good stuff. Corinne Grillo, if y'all don't know her, check her out. We've done 2 talks together on my show, and I think 2 talks on hers, and beautiful soul. Good sister, for sure. Y'all check her out. Don't let people teach you to fear something that can be learned. Magic is letters and spells and words. Are you going to be illiterate? Will you unlearn the alphabet? Mm-hmm. Alex says, I don't know, though. That's why I'm bringing it up. Stay open-minded. You know, you have to stay open-minded. Your mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open. You got to have an open mind. Do you think flies are like God's cameras? Think about it. Birds aren't real. Birds are God's cameras. They're not real. Birds are robots. I would say this about the camera thing. I don't know about God's cameras, but maybe on a weird level of surveillance. But I remember seeing an article. Man, this was like 2010 or something. You can look it up. But they had the technology that they put. They tapped into the exoskeleton of the not of the dragonfly, and they were able to control the dragonfly. So it's like he was able to put a camera on that, and people are controlling what seems to be an animal or something to record and look through its eyes and lens and stuff, or fake birds and stuff like that. It's just interesting when it comes to surveillance. You know, there's even a lot of the other surveillance, or even the 5G stuff that they're like disguising as trees. They try to make it look like a tree in the forest, but it's like a big old 5G radiation tower. Weird stuff. Angel says, when you meditate and you access God, Does he give you answers to your own specific life, and can you ask him anything? Yep, for sure. Yeah, I think so. And it could be like, I feel like Jesus is like God's reflection of love, and how Jesus answered a lot of people. God answers you like that in your conscious mind. And so a lot of times it's a question within a question. Or you'll ask a question, and inwardly a question will be asked to you. So you ask a question, then another question pops up that gives you the answer to the question that you just asked. See, that was Jesus's style, these rhetorical questions, and making you see that you already had the answer, or it's within you, or something like that. But I think so. I am under the belief of, I put out an album 333, which represents angelic contact, but it also represents Jeremiah 33:3, which is one of my favorite scriptures, which says, "Come unto me, I will answer you and show you great and mighty things that you do not know and cannot find out." And so I believe that there are things that God will show you. Take it a step further, I believe that there is things that God has never shown anyone in the record of time that exist, whether it's the spirit realm stuff, that's the stuff I like, or any questions about yourself, about eternity. I really do feel like if you want to know that you can go into your quiet time, into a place of prayer and meditation. Prayer is where you talk to God. Meditation is where God talks to you, that you can go there and receive information. Now, it may not be a yes or no right in that moment, but I also teach that when you go there, when you leave, as long as you start and you engage there in this realm of contemplation, where you come upon your own volition. Nobody made you come. You chose to meet with God in this place, in the place of your room, your church, wherever you are. You started there. The answers may be given later on in the week, through synchronicities, through signs, through God reaching in and moving people or things around, so that next week when you go to this job interview, your boss happens to be someone who has that answer, or wears a shirt that says something that you just asked God, and you look at the shirt and the shirt says the answer is yes. I don't know. But that's how it works with the brother. Again, going back to consciousness, God speaks and works through everything. And as long as we're looking for God in everything, we'll be able to see him in everything. You can't see God at all until you're able to see God in all. So start it in that place of prayer and meditation, but also look for it to continue when you open your eyes and go out. Makes life a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. You are involved. You are a co-creator. So that's my belief with that. Triple JC says, "Truce, you think we were mining gold for the Anunnaki? Nah. But where's all the gold going? Where's it going? It's going to fuel the Anunnaki ships, man. Nah, I don't believe that." Kundalini says, "Truth seekers' opinions are interesting. Thank you. Try to keep it interesting. If not, you'll leave. You'll go to another channel, another live stream. Because if you look to the side, there's like a whole bunch of other videos and stuff. And the fact that you're hanging out with me, sticking on here, maybe something resonates with you. So welcome. Glad you're on. We got to keep it interesting for sure. There's certain things we can know through our own experiences, which many different spiritual practitioners have the same insight. Stargate says that, and I'm with you. And that's one of the biggest things that I like, is the fact that with that notion is how we can study from different perspectives and schools of thought and come to the same understanding and belief. I really like that. And because I talk to those people, on the podcast, and who don't know anything that I know, but they know everything I know. That's weird. That's cool. Like, I love it. It shows some universal law, universal language, an arrival to deep inner truths that I think we all can get there through different means, Paul, what up, boy? Paul says, "How does psilocybin and manna affect the book of Revelation prophecies? For example, manna was revealed that we must restore the tabernacle of David and rebuild the temple." Well, I don't think that, we talked about it today, that manna was magic mushrooms. Now, it could have been mushrooms, but I don't think that it was magic mushrooms, as far as like giving you visions and encounters of God in the spirit realm. So there's a difference there when it comes to manna and then the magic mushrooms or whatever. That could have been mushrooms, but I think that everybody would have had their own encounters versus just Moses and Aaron. Thank you for the donation. Means a lot, for sure. Every little bit helps. Love you, Paul. Love what you're doing, man. Keep up the good work. Loving on people, teaching people truths, man. You rock. Paul says the ordinances must return immediately, like right now. Revelation, incense is clearly burning from a temple and tabernacle worldwide, not just in Jerusalem alone. For me, again, I personally interpret those things as spiritual. Like we must return to keep the ordinances. You can't force somebody to keep an ordinance. Like that's not the way of Christ, to force somebody. It's something that you must enter into of your own volition. You got to seek. And then Triple JC said, is here in the comments and says, I spent all my super chat money on Killer Priest yesterday, brother. I asked about the pickle man. Get the pickle beat on my YouTube. Truth is dope. I'm going to say that because you mentioned that. Something that was mentioned on that podcast last night that I was listening to, Triple JC, is the fact that they talked about the holy men. And a true holy man does not proselytize. Listen, I know the secrets of the spirit world. I put them in songs. I articulate it. I do podcasts. I talk about it. But let's talk about the person who doesn't. The Buddhist monk. They don't have podcasts. They're up in the mountains meditating in a state of bliss and tranquility, being taught by the spirit, by their ancestors, right? They're not in the middle of the town with a loudspeaker, with holding up signs telling you to believe their message. You have to go to them. And that's how initiation happens. You have to go to them. You have to seek out a holy man. That's one thing that I respect about the Freemasons. Was it ask one to be one? That's their rule. A Freemason is not going to knock on your door. Hey, have you heard the beautiful message of Freemasonry? Come on in. Let me share it with you. No. It's church folks. If somebody has something to sell you, door-to-door salesman, you have to go to them. You have to hear about what they're doing. You have to see all of these good works and charities and things, or want to know the secrets. And you come to them. Oh, I'm glad you asked. And then you got to be a upstanding citizen to even be a part of that. So there's some beautiful things in these things that you can glean from. And they're not selling you something. You have to come to them. I see you. Martin says, I would love to be a part of the Mystic Circle, bro. Thank you. I'll reach out. Hope that makes sense, And even me, for sure. Like, even you should be wary of me, of trying to like sell you stuff. I'm writing books and I got a podcast and music and sharing the secrets of the universe. Listen, be wary, man. Like, there's because my hat goes off to those people who don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know this stuff and they just hold it. I kiss and tell. Like, I'm talking about. Listen, when I want you to experience it, man. I really do. And I want, and God, I think God wants you to, but it's up to you if you want to. Again, because whatever you believe shows itself to you. If you want to meet a fairy, fairies will gladly meet you. You want to meet Jesus, he would love to meet you. Osiris, Horus, Ra, whatever. I don't choose all those. I don't choose all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that if you believe in it, it shows itself to you. I got a friend of mine where he gets into a lot of the Ra and Horus stuff and all that kind of stuff. He believes he meets with them and they share information with them and stuff. But then he also told me, went far left. He said that the beings that were created from the Insane Clown Posse's Joker cards, the 7 Joker cards, and then Shangri-La, that they have these creatures or these clowns that do things. He said he was meeting with them. that this being, the Shangri-La, came and communicated with them. Did it really happen? I can't convince him it didn't. I can't convince him otherwise. Nor should I. I don't know. But to him, that's his reality. That's his truth. And it changed his life. And he believes he meets with them and gets information and talks about their music and the Insane Clown Posse. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Lord High Commander HQ says peer character exaggeratedly stretching his arms forward to offer a cup of coffee. Thank you. I received the $4 cup of coffee in the Australian dollars. Thank you. It means a lot. Every little bit helps, and thank you for the cup of coffee for sure. I will drink it with you in honor. Reading more of your comments as we scroll. I'm about an hour behind. I think I'm getting closer. I think I'm almost at the end, guys. I think I'm caught up. DZM says, can you give your in-depth thoughts on Freemasons? So I think I'm late on that, but I think I just did a little bit. Some of the things I like about them. I'll give you another thing I like just because I'm reading that. Another thing that I like about the Freemasons, again, you have to come upon your own volition. They're not going to force anything on you. You learn the secrets because you want to know them. I like that. Also like the secrecy. When I was in the church and stuff, like when I first learned about Freemasons and Hollywood and all this demonic stuff, like I was freaked out. And we were preaching against it. We were exposing the Freemasons. I got music where I'm exposing them and all this kind of stuff that I did back in the day. But, and I actually have them still printed out. I have all my papers and stuff that I had, studies back then. But I have their oaths, the different oaths that you would take for each level. And I had those printed out. And when you read them, they sound demonic. They sound bloody. I could read them to you, but you can look them up online. But it says like, if I share any of these secrets, may you cut me from ear to ear, and may my family's life be what I mean. There's some weird stuff in there when it comes to that, and I'm saying, and I would print that out and read that and say, see, they're demonic. You have to sign this blood oath to be a part of their organization, and you can't tell anybody. You can't talk about it. And I said, that's demonic, you know. And I get to thinking about that as I go further in my Christian walk. Like I start like getting close to other Christian brothers. And I start like becoming like trusting them and sharing stuff with them, like personal stuff. And they went to social media and like would share our conversations and screenshot text messages and share them online and stuff, and try to make me look like a fool and expose me and stuff. And it's like, and in that revelation, it became clear why those oaths read like that. I don't think those Freemason oaths are really about cutting you from ear to ear. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about, listen, I would rather be cut ear from ear than to share your secrets, than to take your, you know, the information that we share in private and bring it out into the world like that. With that understanding, again, I told my friends, because I was studying Masonry back then, I became a little bit more open to the idea of it. And I said, listen, I should have made y'all sign a contract. I should have made you sign a Masonic oath, because I shared deep secrets about my life, about my family and the things I work. And they went to social media and tried to tell everybody because they thought it would kill me. They thought that it would, and it did, you know, in my heart. But the level of respect, you know, and I can be trusted. I really honor that, you know, and I think that the church has lost a lot of that. You know, you shouldn't have to sign anything. And that's what I'm coming from, because I didn't make you sign nothing. I trusted you because blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. I trusted you. Yeah, well, learned my lesson on that. So now I just share it all on podcasts for everybody. Damn the friends. You guys are my friends, for real. That's why I'm hanging out. I want to hang out with you guys. I want to get to know you. You know, it's what it is. Got a lot of stuff set up to do that. So anyway, I do honor that. And I do think that that's really commendable. So Alex says, I wish I still made music. I haven't since high school. It wasn't bad. A little explicit. Tried to collaborate with Destiny Lab, but they wouldn't work with me, so I kind of gave up on it. Hey, money talks, bro. Money talks. Or maybe it's the right amount of money that talks that you couldn't get. You can buy a feature. I'll tell you straight up. I paid my dues literally with money. I did. That's how I got into LCOB. I mean, not really. Let's see. Early on, I sent my first conscious song. I was a gospel rapper, corny gospel rapper from Alabama, talking about killing the devil and trap beats and all that kind of stuff. And when I started listening to the spiritual music, I wanted to rap with LCOB. I mean, those guys dropping knowledge, stylistically, the beat. I just fell in love, man, because I was studying that stuff. And so I reached out. What I did first was I reached out to Cosmic Crusader and I sent them a song that I was working on. And I said, hey, I am going to work on a spiritual, esoteric album. Can I, be affiliated with LCOB? Can I drop this under y'all's label? And Cosmic Crusader said, yeah, I love your style. Definitely, we need this in our genre. And so we kind of built off of that. So Cosmic said, yeah, but nobody else knows who I was, So to get a lot of verses early on, I'll say, hey, will you feature on this song? And they say, yeah, I charge so-and-so. Okay, cool. My idea going in a form of networking, which worked, which was, listen, let me pay this guy $100 or $200, whatever. It wasn't nothing crazy. Let me give him $200 and get on a verse with him. Because when I spend that $200 on that verse, my job is to come harder than you, to be more esoteric, to be more driven, to bring my style and introduce it to people that they've never heard. Somebody who raps like me, Bone Thugs and Harmony, my lingo, my talk, or whatever, that I know that I'm going to win your fans over. And I did. I'd pay them $200, get on a song, and people are like, dude, like, I'm an LCOB fan, but now, like, I'm a Truth Seeker fan, dude. Keep it up. I want more. Where's more? Because when it comes to music, especially when it's a niche artist and people really like that stuff, is you're itching, waiting for their next release. I got, Truth Seeker fans are waiting for my next song. They want another song. They don't give a damn about no podcast. They want a song. So they're waiting on this next song. So whoever that features, you may get introduced to a new artist. You are. I'm working with some guys you guys don't know. I've introduced people. So it was the same way. When Beast 1333, 6 Sense, Illuminati Congo, all of these guys, their fans were itching for new music. And they heard these new songs with amazing beats. And I made sure that I stepped my game up. I made sure. That music's iconic, for sure. And I won. I networked and I paid money. And now, people are waiting on my next release. And that's how that system worked for me. But I had to pay. They didn't know who I was. And who knows? People ask for verses for free and nobody ever hears them. You work on a hard verse and give it to somebody and they quit rapping the next day. It's like, that's weird. So charging for verses, at least that person gets paid, or at least you're paying for studio time or whatever the case is. And so I definitely paid dues like that early on and it worked. So I just wanted to share that little story. And it was through networking, but every move was a calculated step for sure. Gypsy says, let's see, DZM, I'm going to go with DZ first because ZMDMZ says, do you believe Jesus, the man, Lord, existed? Is there proof on this? I kind of been saying this. I don't know how far behind I am, but yeah, I believe he did. Is there proof? It depends on who you ask, I didn't go down that route with my guest earlier, but he was saying that like they only believe stuff that really keeps getting reiterated over and over and over, and they don't believe in new information that comes in. And so when it comes to Jesus, I do find it interesting is that everybody tries to claim Jesus. The Muslims in their holy book, in the Quran, speaks of Jesus. The Christians, the Romans, they have records of Jesus. They speak of Jesus. The Hindus speak of Jesus. They say, yes, we know him. He come and he learned from us. He learned from our ways. And he received a master and was taught and trained. In Egypt, they speak of Jesus. Like all of these different places speak of this Jesus the Christ. So I think it's really interesting when your so-called enemies are even, validating your existence, So, but yeah, I do believe. Wow, this is cool. So Gypsy Lee Perry says, I found your channel when you did your first interview on Miami Ghost Chronicles channel. I'm so thankful for the conversation I've heard on your channel and truly love your music on my walks. Thank you so much. See, that's awesome. I love co-creating and collaborating and cross-pollinating and meeting new people because of that. We had a really good talk on her show. She's awesome. I love her style. She's cool. She's been on my show too. So, the ones who believe in him will be like him, Cybrick says. Yep, it's true. And Angra says something about, I'm not going to read it because I don't know anything about your question. Maybe a little bit. Do you know if, Mr. Cuba says, do you know if Ra and Horus claim to be the Most High God as Jesus does? See, I don't even think that Jesus claims that, to be honest with you. I don't think that Jesus said, I am God, worship me. No, I don't think that at all. I think that from what I'm saying, that what he did, like, listen, this is what I'm about. I hid nothing from you. I showed you everything openly. Here it is. You want to follow me? Follow me. This is the way. I've only done what I've seen the Father doing. So I don't think that Jesus claims to be God. I think that he presented his gospel and his truth, and it changed the world. And I do believe he was sent from God, as John says. There was a man sent from God who was Jesus, but I don't think that he will claim to be God. And that gets me excommunicated from many Christian circles just by that belief. So Triple JC says they make you speak horror into existence. Yeah, if you share their secrets. Alex says, True Seeker, don't forget to share. Check out the second discourse of Great Seth. Let me go ahead and copy and paste that, just so it'll pop up in my Google search, and I'll go back to it. I'm gonna check it out. What if Osiris was the real Jesus? Alex says. Hey, listen, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What if they are all the same Messiah? And there's this really, the 13 risen saviors, and the fact that God loves humanity enough to anoint somebody to pop up in that century, in that religion, in that place of the globe, to deal with their people. They become a savior. Listen, Moses was the savior to the Jewish nation. Moses was their savior. Jesus became savior, and so what if these other people or beings that showed up, existed, were the Maitreya, if you will, that shows up in different times at different points? I'm not saying this is a fact. We're just throwing ideas out. What if he was, the Messiah here and the Messiah there, or at least the same? Maybe it wasn't the same being, or maybe they're connected to the same energy, the same essence of greater good. But I guess you would tell by their fruits, maybe, and their message. Ones that demanded worship, those kind of things. It's very interesting to think about that. They try to say, and there is similarities. That's why, the zeitgeist was so big that people were saying that they were stolen and plagiarized from, they took them from these other religions, So who knows? I mean, it goes into other beings as far as Melchizedek. I mean, most Christians believe that Jesus was Melchizedek. But then Jesus, it says in Hebrews that Jesus was in the order of Melchizedek, that this was an order or a hierarchy of angelic beings that Jesus was a part of. And Christians believe that Melchizedek was Jesus, Prince of Peace, King of Salam, So, it's okay to ask questions, guys. Make sure you know that. So if you don't ask the questions, you'll never get to the answers. And it's okay to question stuff. Whatever's true will stick and we'll come back. Never think that, people who tell you not to question stuff, man, be a skeptic for sure. What if today the Jesus we think we know isn't. What if? Again, judge the fruit. The Savior is a good man who had a good doctrine and a good, listen, he loved everybody. Listen, like, venerated him, you know, like, that's the way to God. The way of love is the God. Like, he's not the only one who taught that, you know. Jesus, which goes a little bit deeper. He wasn't just a good person. You know, the story is that he was sent from God and he was perfect. We were born into sin. He was perfect, and he was the only one acceptable as far as being a good person or whatever. And he was acceptable to God, and his blood was pure. He was holy and took away the sin consciousness in the world. So Alex also says that I'm just saying that in the Gnostic text, Jesus told Judas his name would be misused. He says that in the scriptures too. It just says that there would be many who come in my name and would deceive many. There will be antichrist, people who are against my message. They're going to be anti what this whole thing that we're building, for sure. So nothing corny about young truth seeker, demon killer. Is what Blessed One says. He also says Cosmic Crusader is dope. Yeah, he is. We got one song together. We've talked about doing another one. He's a hermit. You know, he doesn't even really deal too much with music or interviews and stuff. I want to get him on. Open-minded and skeptic, bro. You got to be. Okay, controversial thought. The Blessed One podcast says, which is Benny, he says, True Seeker is a better spitter than Busy and Crazy. I don't agree. Those guys are legends, dude. Those are the people who influence me and I look up to. That's just laughable. You know what I'm saying? In my book, for sure. But it's you know, I'm honored if you think that, but I don't think that at all. I'm not even that good at rapping. You know, I'm running out of new words, you know, and I'm kind of reaching my pinnacle, I think. So those guys are awesome. I don't think that I'm even on a level at all. Now, what I'm talking about, yeah, for sure. We'll go there. I'll go there. But rhyme scheme, cadence, no way. But what I'm talking about, we can go there. We can go there for sure. I'll take that as a pat on the back. Speaking of new artists, whatever happened to Watchmen? Watchmen. That's my boy, man. Y'all pray for Watchmen, man. Here's my boy. I don't know, man. I opened up the door. I produced Watchmen's album, man. I love Watchmen. I trained him on this. I coached him on stylistically on how to like be in this kind of genre, because early Watchmen stuff is he sounds like he's British, you know, and he's from the South, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't that good. When Watchmen changed his voice up and started doing the kind of music that I do, he was really good. And we put out that album, which is amazing. He's done some features and some other stuff too, but I don't know, man. He's still doing a couple songs. He's actually featured on a feature that we just did with Loke Saint. So Loke Saint's new album, me and Watchmen are on a song on there. And we don't see eye to eye, me and Watchmen, just to be straight up with you. I'm going to be straight up. Watchmen knows this. He'll tell you. Watchmen was a hardcore Trump supporter, man. Like, Watchmen was very much into politics. And as long as we weren't talking about politics, we build. Like, Watchmen loves aliens, everything. Me and Watchmen are like two peas in a pod. But Watchmen, you know, he's very religious. You know, we all have that religion. We're in the South. We have that religious undertone that's there. It's almost like a negative side of our character is this religious zealot that exists. And so Watchmen was a big Trump supporter, man. You know, and the religious side that will come out of Watchmen, to just be straight up with you. I love Watchmen, and I can talk about this because we'll talk about it on the show. I'll get them on. Watchmen is very old school and old fashioned when it comes to abortion and interracial mixing, like and just gay people, like, so that's counterproductive to what I'm doing, and we would have arguments over it. Go at it. We go at it. Why you won't tell these people they going to hell, True Seeker? Why you won't tell the gays they're going to hell? I said, listen, maybe I don't believe that no more, dude. Well, it's in the Bible. And we just go at it. And he's a good friend, amazing dude. I love that guy, bro. He is a beautiful dude. But when it comes to those schisms, the disagreements, religion and politics is hard to get over. People feel strongly about that. I don't know how many people, tuned out when I mentioned Trump a while ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know better than to say that stuff, and I do. And I would bring up, stuff. And Watchman would call me every morning talking about Trump, man. I swear to God, like every morning. And I had to check him. I'd check him. I say, bro, don't call me at 7 a.m. talking about what Trump is doing, bro. Like, don't call me with that. Call me talking about what the Lord's doing in your heart, dude. And I would tell him. And he'll call me and tell me what the Lord's doing. And listen, long we're talking about the Lord, bro, and we're talking about Christ and the spirit world, and listen, we're just right in. But when it came to politics and gays and abortion, we just didn't see eye to eye. And he thinks like I'm for abortion, and I'm like for, or even I'm for like homosexual marriage, or even for gay sex or something. It's like, I'm not for nothing, dude. I'm just not against these people. These are my brothers and sisters who are trying to figure life out. Tell them they're going to hell. And you tell them they're going to hell, and let me know how it works. And so we had that conversation. We had, and there were several months where we didn't talk. But I love Watchman. I hope he comes back and does conscious music. We just did a feature. He wants to do secular music. He wants to do, when I say secular, he wants to cuss and talk about the street life and all this kind of stuff, and talk about cussing and drinking and all that kind of stuff in his music. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to cuss. I haven't yet. 200 songs without cursing. I don't feel like any reason to start. Anyway, we didn't see eye to eye on that kind of stuff and where we were moving, forward. But I love him. He's a real good dude, for sure. We just disagree, politics and religion, whatever. I would probably disagree with half of the people who are hanging out. And the good thing is we would put that stuff aside. Listen, damn my politics. Damn, I'm not finna get an abortion. I'm not finna tell people to get an abortion. Listen, don't worry about that. Let's find what we can agree on and build on. But no, he wants, I don't know. So it is what it is. Reach out to him. He's a good dude. He's in school right now. He's studying. He's doing a lot of schooling, trying to become a teacher, actually. Blessed One says, you introduced me to Cosmic Crusader, Sixth Sense, Beast 1333, Diesel Automatic, King James, Ben Real, Pallades, Young Bro, The Voice, Watchman, Elo, and most importantly, to my number 2 and number 3 rappers, which I know who you're talking about, Andrea Ram and Modern Day Soldier. That's what's up. It was a pleasure, because I love, they should be heard. All of those people should be heard. They're really good at what they do. Crick says, Jesus is not God. God said, let us make man in our image, speaking to Jesus. Jesus is the conception of the spirit in pure flesh, and it pleased God to crush him because he covers a multitude of sins of mankind. Yep. Yeah, I don't think Jesus is God. That'd be weird. Jesus is walking around talking to himself, praying to himself. I'm not praying to myself. I'm praying to the Father, which is a part of me. It's like, that's weird. Come on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, but people will kill you over that, man. People will kill you over that. Alex says there's so many. I'm tripping. I don't even know what I'm reading. This stuff's blending together. So that we may present everyone. Okay, you're quoting a scripture from another one you shared up there. I see it though. And then someone else says Jesus is God. Another one says it doesn't say Jesus. Jesus is love. Listen, I love it, because Jesus, his big thing is, hey, who do you say that I am? He says, hey, what's people saying about me? Some people say you're delusional. Some people say that you're Elijah that's come back from the dead. Man, who do you say that I am? Man, I know that you are the Messiah. You are the one that God sent. Listen, upon this rock, this knowledge, this revelation, this heart, I'm going to build my church. And yeah, I feel like God asks us, or Jesus asks us, who do you say that I am? So, and he becomes that. I am that I am becomes that when you say who he is. Declare it. It gets deep. My voice is going, guys. I'm having fun with y'all though. I haven't done one of these in a long time. And I'm trying to book less podcasts in like April, just so that I can do more of these just hangouts and streams and stuff versus having to have a guest on. I'm saying that this at the same time that I'm launching another podcast with multiple guests. Keith, what up, boy? Keith says same story, same guy, different faces, different countries, man. Listen, hey, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Stephanie says, do you have any recommendations on any books about spiritual symbolism? I recommend my book. My book is Spirit Realm by Truth Seeker. There's some in there. But I guess I also recommend the one that I've recommended earlier, which is The Secret Teachings of All Ages, which has definitely been an inspiration to me. And it's full of spiritual symbolism. I mean, spirituality in and of itself is full of symbolism. And in that book by Manly P. Hall, big thick book, good book. You can just pick it up and really read anywhere. I wouldn't even recommend it reading from start to finish, just kind of like, because it's so big, you're going to be there for 6 years reading it. Open it up and just see what resonates with you on that day and read it. But there's a lot about symbolism for sure. No sin consciousness. Nope. What up, Gano? What up? So seek the truth for sure. And you shall know the truth, and this truth shall set you free. So seek the truth. That's it. Have you read materials like Think and Grow Rich? Thoughts on this material, and are you reading anything now? Not particularly am reading anything now. I've bought some stuff, but as far as like committed and really going in, nah, not right now. Think and Grow Rich, I haven't read it. I listen to a lot of those lectures and stuff. I'm in love with as far as everybody in that camp, I'm in love with Bob Proctor, who's in that camp of right thinking and manifestation and things. So I definitely I like Bob Proctor when it comes to all that, law of attraction and wealth and stuff like that for sure. And I teach a lot of that in my class, my program. So ZM says maybe you should take a trip to expand your creativity. I will say I did have a beautiful experience in meditation the other day that a lot of stuff came to me, and it really did. Like I went deep, and I haven't been that deep in maybe years. You know what I'm saying? Like I started out and got introduced to it, and then everything's just kind of been teaching and reiteration and stuff. But to really go deep, I did the other day, and it was so good. A breath of fresh air. I think you're a doper rapper than Elo, okay? But hey guys, I'm gonna jump off here. Family's getting home from school and stuff, and we'll do it again. I know I have a bunch more questions here, so I'll make sure that we do it again. And thanks for hanging out with me. Go to themysticcircle.net. Also go to truthseeker.com. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. I got concerts coming up. There's events and retreats that we're doing. Bunch of one-on-one sessions and cool stuff. So if you guys want to engage in online or in person, we got a bunch of stuff coming up. So go to truthseeker.com and go to themysticcircle.net. We're going to do this again. I love you guys. We're going to do it very soon. Peace, peace.